Hi, I'm Simon. Thanks for tuning in to watch The Ordinary Filmmaker. It's Tuesday, September the 27th, 2021. We've got three separate news items today, but I'm going to cover the Sony a7 IV first. This camera is due to come out sometime in October. That's right, October 2021. Although if you go over to Sony Alpha Rumors, you'll notice a strange rumor that even they say is a little bit strange, suggesting that we might even get, are you ready for this? The Alpha 1A or the A7S IIIA before the A7 IV. Now, this isn't entirely implausible. I mean, we did have to wait 5 years for the A7S III, but really, no, I don't give any credibility to that rumor. But over at sonyrumors.com, we have updates on what the A7 IV is supposed to be. Now, it's going to have the same body as the A7S III, the same heatsink, which makes it a little bit bigger than the A7 III. I keep wanting to say the A7S III. Now, there are some other specs that we got from Sony Rumors and Sony Alpha Rumors previously, and some of these I find, well, I've a little bit hard to believe. You remember that Sony came out with a 2.36 million dot LCD. Well, this camera, the A7 IV, it's supposed to have that 1.44 million dot, and I find that hard to believe. And as far as EVF, no, it's not going to get that 9.44 million dot EVF. It's going to get the, what is it here? Yep, 3.68 million dot. And, I mean, it's okay, but it's far behind what the A7S III and Alpha 1 get. Now, other things. Now, one thing I really like about this camera, according to the rumors, is it's not supposed to deliver any overheating whatsoever in up to 4K 60 frames per second. But then again, this is not a video camera. This is a stills hybrid camera first and foremost. 4K 60, sure. Overheating? In fact, yeah, I'm not so sure about this one. What do you think? Will we get 4K 60 without any overheating? Even the Alpha 1 will overheat at room temperature in studio conditions if recording for more than an hour. So yeah, a little bit of salt on that one. Sprinkle it over and make sure it covers everything. What else? Now this is where I think Sony really gets things right. I don't doubt this rumor. It's supposed to have dual SD card slots, and it's going to be dual SD UHS-2 as well as CF Express Type A. Now I prefer Type B because, well, they're cheaper per gigabyte, and you just got larger sizes. But then again, with Sony, the nice thing about their IPB or long op compression, it's pretty damn good. I was hard-pressed to notice any differences in shooting in scenes like this. Although outside in a very detailed environment, you might notice some weird effects, especially if it's raining or snowing. That's where long op or IPB can start to get a little bit confused and just start to make up snowflakes and raindrops and other strange anomalies. Now, what is the price of this camera supposed to be? Well, it's supposed to cost $24.99, and it's supposed to be coming next month. So we're less than a month, or we're about a month away. They say late October. We're a month away from getting the A7 IV, and we don't have anything solid. That's not completely unexpected. Sony is the type of company that believes, you know, if we're going to leak something, no. Actually, they don't think that way at all. Sony is not a company to leak. Not like Canon did with the R5. They dragged that thing through town and they hyped it up incredibly. Sony, on the other hand, believes, you know what, when we're ready to let you know, we're going to do an announcement. Or we'll do a pre-announcement like Tanaka did with the A7S III. So, it's supposed to come out in October. It's supposed to be around $24.99. And anything else, let me take a look at the list here. Did I miss anything? Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the sensor, but I did talk about this in previous videos. It's supposed to have a 33 megapixel sensor. That's right, 33 megapixels. That's definitely a bit of a boost. Now, the biggest problem I have with Sony rumors is that, well, Sony doesn't leak stuff. They really keep a lid on things. So when stuff comes out, I'm wondering, well, is this really a leak, or is this just somebody saying, I think this is what the A7 IV is going to have? Even when the rumors have gotten it right, they never get things 100%. They might get it 60 or 70% correct, just like they did with the A7S III. We were supposed to get a different sensor. We were supposed to get more megapixels too. Not that much more, but we were supposed to get more. We also got wind from Fuji rumors that the Fuji X-H2 is due to be released very, very soon. And the one thing that they said about this camera, they only said one thing only, and that is it's supposed to have a 40 megapixel sensor. And that's a significant boost over the X-H1. See, I knew I was going to say it wrong, and I tried to correct, and it didn't work. Those names, I've said this before, I wish they'd come out with nice friendly names like the Ed or the Alice, like the Alice camera. Anyhow, the X-H1 had a 24 megapixel sensor, so a 40 megapixel sensor is definitely a big boost to that. Now, what can we expect from this camera? Well, let's take a look at the X-H1. And one area I would definitely like to see some improvements, and I would expect some improvements, would be not only the autofocus accuracy with face and eye detection, but also increasing the auto coverage area. And I think that would really make this a big hit over the X-H1. I can't say. I want to say, if I start calling it the X1, just go with it. Don't even bother leaving a comment. I get those sort of things mixed up. The one other thing I'd like to see them improve is 15-minute record limit in 4K. Now, I get it. If you've got the battery grip, that you don't have the 15-minute record limit, but really, 15-minute record limits? I mean, look at how Canon got raked through the coals on the R5, and you could get up to 25, 30 minutes or even 40 minutes on the R5 without it overheating, and then be able to take photos afterwards. Yeah, 50, you know what, this is a bit of an issue. I would not touch a camera that's only going to allow me about 15 minutes of record time in video, because I'm primarily a video person. Also, it needs to support audio monitoring. Now, again, if you've got the battery grip, you do have that port, but this needs to be as part of the camera. All in all, I think Fuji's making some really nice cameras. I really did like what they did with the X-T4 that came out last year. And some of their medium format cameras look absolutely incredible. They have the cheapest medium format camera, the recently announced but not released. The release date, I believe, is October the 21st for the GFX 50S Mark II. And then some lenses coming out in November as well. I've got, in a previous video I think it was just a couple of days ago, I released a video where I've got the exact dates and what's coming out. So I know that the X-H2 is going to be an improvement over the X-H1, but where? Is it going to be in the autofocus? And I really think it has to be, and I think they know that too. But in the video specs, what are they going to do in terms of overheating? Overheating, it's not just Canon. Sony had problems years ago with overheating. When you're trying to cram all these capabilities into such a small camera, and I don't have a spare behind me here, but the R5, for example, it really is a small camera. And the A6100, the A7S III, to be able to do 4K 60, 120 frames per second in 4K, or 6K, or even 8K as the R5 does, in such a small unit, you can expect there's going to be overheating in some modes after a certain duration, especially in certain heat. Now, thankfully, I live up in the Great White North, otherwise known as Canada, and for about 10 months of the year, overheating in any of the R5 modes is well, it's just not going to happen. But for those of you living in the tropics, like Florida, Malaysia, Northern Africa, yeah, these overheats are going to be a problem. That's where you really need to think a little differently about the camera you're buying, and if it's going to be able to tolerate those high heat conditions. And maybe, just maybe, instead of a stills hybrid camera that does really good video, maybe just consider getting a video camera. Our last news item today is Canon. Canon has some new RF lenses coming. This comes from Nakashita, that a new lens has been registered. So once that happens, I think we can pretty well expect that sometime later this month or next month, we're going to have a new RF lens. Now, we had two lenses come out last week, announced last week, and that is the RF 16mm f2.8, and that's an affordable STM, but also another affordable lens, the 100 to 400mm f, what was it, 5.6 to 8 image stabilized lens. Both of them at a really solid price. So what could that other lens be? What do you think? Well, Craig tells us that he thinks it's going to be a 35mm f2 USM. That's certainly plausible. At this point myself, I'm kind of at a loss as to what lens I want to get next. I really like the 16mm, but as we start to get into the winter months, I'm not so sure that I want to be outside shooting an awful lot just for the channel or just for you. No, I'd rather be inside here in the basement where it's climate controlled. It's still very, very cold down here. You'll notice at times my lips will turn purple or blue, and that's because I'm cold and because the basement is very cold. But today, where it's 75 degrees Fahrenheit, and we got a storm coming through that's supposed to last a couple of days, it's about 75 degrees, 74 degrees upstairs. It's hot, and downstairs I feel absolutely, well, I feel good. I feel confident. Now my face looks like it's a little bit red looking at the Ninja there, the Ninja 5. But, you know, yeah, I am a little hot, and that's, so what? Stuff happens, right? Anyhow, back to the lens. Again, it looks like we're going to get a 35mm, but as far as any other rumors from Canon, anything that we've gotten recently, there's been pretty much nothing. Now, if we go back to the beginning of the year, well, this last quarter was supposed to see a lot of really great cameras, APS-C camera bodies. We're supposed to see a replacement for the RP. We're supposed to see a replacement, well, not really a replacement for the EOS R, but a camera that sits between the current EOS R and the R6. And sure, these are definitely possible. I mean, we didn't know anything about the R3 until Canon announced it, and all of us were like, where did this come from? Canon Rumors was like, yeah, I heard nothing. The new camera, nothing. No one. So we could still get some really wonderful stuff from Canon over the next 6 weeks, but again, global chip shortage, right? It's that we're supposed to see the effects of that right up until about 2023. So yeah, there's that. But anyhow, I want to do a quick behind the scenes, but that's it for news. Oh, and one last thing, if you're not going to watch behind the scenes, please go ahead and like and subscribe. It really helps get this channel promoted more. It feeds YouTube's algorithm, and you know, I'm really serious this year about getting this channel to 30,000 subscribers by Christmas, and I know with your help, I can do it. All right, now let's go behind the scenes. So in this episode of Behind the Scenes, I'm going to talk about, well, I'm back down in the studio basement, right? Now, you might notice things look a little bit different. And that's because, well, I've learned a lot over the past year. Now with the lighting, and it's different, I only have 2 front lights on me. I have a main light here, which is the Kobor, the box is right there, I just can't reach it. Kobor, I believe it is, CL100. And it's on me at about 55%, I'd say about 4 or 5 feet away at a diagonal. And then over here I got a ring light with a little bit less intensity, so it casts a bit of a shadow on this side. And I've also used the Ninja to set my face to right around 60, 63 IRE based on what I can see from the waveforms right now. And I think this is going to give me better lighting, better color, and I'm going to look a little bit better. And I've also framed myself a little bit better as well, so that I've got desk space here. I can put things down here. I can try things out. I can pull things over and show them to you. And I can even reach back if I want to grab stuff off the shelf, which is very, very handy, because before, believe it or not, there was about 6 feet between the bookcase and where I was sitting. Oh, one thing I did forget to do. How does it look? I forgot to set the light at the top that faces down on top of me. Yeah, I thought I checked off everything, checked the ISO, and most of the settings in the camera are completely, well, they haven't changed. So I think the ISO's at 320 or 250. The f-stop is 2.5, so that way when I move around a little bit, you know, it doesn't cause any problems. It's on the tripod, Manfrotto with a 504X head. But what you'll notice is I've got a lot more of these little colorful lights behind me. 4 of them are in exactly the same place, and then I've got 2 of them off to the side, one right here and one right there. And I've changed the colors around a little bit. So now I've got some more magentas, red, blues, and purples. And I'm just trying something a little bit different. But why am I doing this, you might ask? Well, it's hot upstairs, and I don't like shooting upstairs because it does get a little hot in the summer. Shooting outside, I've got too many problems with audio from my neighbors. They just get really, really loud. And right now they're playing music. It's not loud, but the bass is turned high. and that just doesn't produce really good results. Down here in this basement studio, I can control the audio, I can control everything so much more. I can quickly turn the lights on and I'm good to shoot. And this allows me to start covering things if something really big like the R3 comes out, which it already has, but if another camera like the A7 IV comes out, as soon as I get wind of it from Nakashita or any other offshore sources, I can quickly come downstairs and deliver the news very quickly. I've got my laptop here and I'm not using a teleprompter anymore, so I can deliver things a whole lot quicker. But there are some issues downstairs. HVAC is right over here. I've got a furnace, I've got a water heater and some other stuff. And if it gets to be like -20, -27 outside and I turn off the furnace, it's going to get pretty cold in this house pretty quick. So that leaves me figuring out or scrambling, what am I going to do for these live streams on Friday? I've got one planned for this Friday, but I'm not sure what to do. I can certainly shorten it to about an hour, and that's certainly something I might do. And maybe what we do is we don't go into it in depth, taking 2 hours to cover all the news items. We cover some of the news, we talk about the news, and then maybe we turn it into a bit of a tutorial and some experiences talking about, you know, how do you shoot? What are some of the lessons learned you have with shooting video? What are some of the lessons you have with lighting? I've certainly got a lot. I used to have a ring light here, 2 Godox lights there, one from the top shining down, a whole bunch of lights on the back. I've learned an awful lot over this past year, and when I go back and look at the family films and the event stuff that I did the previous year, I've definitely come a long way. And even grading video, I've definitely come a long way. But also, another thing about being in the basement, I've set it up so I've got a more comfortable chair here. So I'm not going to be all frustrated, squinting, and, you know, coming across as a robot because I'm just so uncomfortable. So is the channel going to go back to reporting the news as often as it came out before? Well, I'm starting to feel a bit of cabin fever as the weather changes here. It's going to start to get pretty cold pretty quickly. Anyhow. My wife is working now. My son goes to bed around 7:30, so it gives me a lot of free time. And I think, yeah, I'm going to go back to that similar frequency, but I'm not going to try to get a video out during lunchtime or during my breaks or before work. It's just ridiculous. It takes too much effort. Between the hours of 8 or 7 o'clock and 4 o'clock, I just want to focus on work and then picking up my son up at school or dropping him off at school. I don't want to have to focus on anything else. And then at 4 o'clock, you know, pick up my son, we play around a little bit, do some dinner, and then maybe shoot a video. Now, right now, it's currently 6:30. So that's kind of the time frame I expect. Probably by the time I've edited this and got it out to you, it's probably going to be 8 o'clock, depending on the length of this. And that's why I want to kind of shorten this up right now, because if I make it too long, that takes longer to edit, takes longer to export, and then, of course, upload. But that's it for now. If you've got any questions about the new format, go ahead and post them in the comment section. And please like and subscribe. I know you got to reach your hand over to that button there, but seriously, your subscribes and likes, they're interactions, and they really do help the channel grow. And even if you click unlike, I welcome all feedback, comments. It helps the channel grow. And I really want to push this channel to 30,000 subscribers. Over the last 4 or 5 months while I've been experimenting, the channel's been growing at about 70 to 90 subscribers a month, and that's really low. That's since about February. And I think one of the biggest reasons for that is there's been a lack of news. So as I go forward, I'm going to cover news as I have, but I'm also going to continue to do reviews because I love getting new gear, especially this cold bore light, the CL100. I really love it. It's just simplified my setup. And of course it has a remote control, although I got to say, the remote control, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Now they say to sync it up, unplug it, plug it in, and use it, but I've done that, and then part of the way through a broadcast, I'll press a button, and guess what? It's going like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. You go get somebody else to change your buttons. I don't know. It's got a bit of an attitude, but you know, for $200, the lighting it provides, it's terrific. I have a simple umbrella. It's really cheap. I'm sure if this thing fell down, it would break. But if you're in a studio and you're not going to be messing around with too many things, a simple $10 umbrella works. But again, that is it for now. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate you engaging in the channel. I'm not going anywhere. We'll see you again soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe.